Hello, my pokey people, and welcome and all to another sun and moon hype theory in general. And I have to say, I am so super mega extra excited to share today's theory with you because it came about completely by accident. I wasn't even intending to do a plot and legendary video today. I was going to do new animals, objects, plants, and myths and legends that hopefully will be turned into Pokemon. So, while researching that, I was looking at Chinese dragons, because I think it's long past time we have a Chinese dragon-themed Pokemon. And while looking into the viability of that, I stumbled across something, let's say very sun-related, that kind of made me go, huh. And then from then on, I fell down a rabbit hole of research and madness, and I think I've come up with a pretty cool idea as to the plot and legendaries of Sun and Moon. So let's do this thing. Firstly, we need to accept that the Sun and Moon region is likely based off Hawaii. Now, I do harbor a little bit of a suspicion for Singapore, as you guys know, but I cannot deny the sheer volume of evidence pointing to Hawaii, from the in-game references from the strange souvenir, all the way to the fire trucks that match up, and then all the way again to the Hawaii-themed Vivillon, and that kind of works for me, because if we assume that Sun and Moon are the Johto to X and Y's Kanto, the idea that there's a Vivillon for that region, i.e. based on Hawaii colors, kind of matches up nicely, if you ask me. Now, I'm not going to go into crazy detail on the Hawaii similarities with what we know about Sun and Moon, as Poke theorists have done it to death, but what I will do is assume that Hawaii is the region inspiration. So the logical thing to do then, to get things started, is have a look at the myths and legends and the Sun and Moon references around Hawaii and the broader Polynesian region, and we get two very obvious frontrunners. Now, these are things people have pointed out before, but you know, we need to cover our bases. So we have Maui, the sun god, who, you know, isn't the sun god in some tellings, but you know, the general consensus is that he is, and Hina, the moon goddess. Now, these guys are quite interesting, really, a little bit of a sidetrack, because it's really, I think, honestly, a lot of fun learning about other cultures, myths, and legends. It's something I've always been really passionate about. So, Maui, one day, his wife was like, honey, you know, I'm trying to dry my cloth, but I can't do it. Can you please make the days longer so there's more sunlight? And him, being the loving, doting, and caring husband that he was, went, alright, woman, you're on. So he decided just to cash-like lasso the sun and just pull it closer, thereby increasing the amount of hours in the day during summer. Yeah. I mean, imagine basically the Bruce Almighty scene, but with the sun and Maui. So that's what he's doing, chilling out, being the sun lassoer god. And we got Hina, who is the moon goddess. I mean, there's a lot of versions of her too, depending on which island you go to, but the consensus is moon goddess. Her deal is that one day she decided, basically, I've had enough of being here. I've had enough of the people, the crowds. I've had enough of being pursued, because apparently she was unbelievably beautiful, as goddesses tend to be. And her solution was, I'm just going to go to the moon. And then while on the moon, her idea was, I guess I'll just become the goddess of the moon now. And that's what happened with her. She basically did a...
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope.
So, the thing with this is, while it does have strong Sun and Moon references supporting the region choice, is they're both very human. They don't really have animal versions that could easily be turned into Pokemon, so we kind of need to look a little bit further afield. But before we do that, we need to kind of know what we're looking for. So, to do that, we need to look at the evil team of the region, because when we know what they're trying to do, we know the kind of legendary that they want, and then we can kind of find a myth or or legend or animal in real life that is said to have the properties that they would want to achieve in the region. For example, if we have a look at all the other teams that have been around in Pokemon, we have Team Rocket, whose goal was to capture all the Pokemon and take over the region. Very, very early and humble beginnings for the teams, considering how ridiculous they got. Then we have Team Aqua, who was using a Pokemon to cover the earth in water. So if I was predicting that, I would have looked for myths and legends surrounding creatures that are gonna create seas everywhere, for example. Then Team Magma, the same, but for land everywhere. Then we had Galactic, who wanted to recreate the universe. Alright, bit of a step up, lads. And then we had Plasma, who wanted to separate the humans from the Pokemon. And finally Team Flare, who, you know, just casually wanted to wipe out all life, so they needed a life-wiping legendary. So what's going to happen in Sun and Moon? Well, I said this, ask anyone. I said as soon as it was announced, I totally know what the bad team's going to do. They're going to try and create permanent day or permanent night. I mean, it just makes sense, doesn't it? Permanent sun, permanent moon. It matches up nicely, and it's an interesting thing that another team hasn't come close to doing yet. And I think it'd be quite cool if it actually works for a little bit, and you have to spend a few days in game being in permanent night or permanent day until you solve it and fix the problem and make the permanent eclipse cease. And there is where we get the cincher. Eclipse, it makes sense. Solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, team eclipse. Easy. Again, that is fairly self-revealing. So if we establish then that the evil team is going to be wanting to cause a permanent sooner, solar or lunar eclipse, they need a legendary Pokemon that could do that. So, we now finally reach why researching Chinese dragons cottoned me onto this theory. There is a myth in Chinese mythology that basically says when there is a solar eclipse, what is happening is a giant Chinese dragon is devouring the sun. And that pretty much is perfect, isn't it? And this is further supported by Pokemon's tendency to appeal to other countries and peoples by putting in references to their culture in game. And as, interestingly enough, Sun and Moon is the first Pokemon game to be officially released in China in Chinese, it'd be kind of nice to include a Chinese dragon-based legendary as one of the frontrunners for the game. So if we assume that the Sun legendary is going to be based on a Chinese sun-devouring dragon, I can kind of dig that and get behind it, and that discovery is what started this whole thing. So then we need the Moon Legendary. Now this one, I'll admit, is the weakest part of this theory, because basically what I did was Google, dragons that eat the moon. Just in case there happened to be a counterpart of the Chinese variant. And actually, I was blown away because there literally is. There is a dragon that is said to devour the moon. And lo and behold, it's very close to the Polynesian region. It's based on a Philippine legend. And while Philippine isn't technically Polynesian, it is bloody close and very much in the proximity of Hawaii in the grand scheme of the globe. So we have ourselves a dragony serpenty creature by the name of Bakunawa. Bakunawa? I'm pretty sure it's Bakunawa, right? That seems good. And that is a gigantic sea serpenty dragon type thing, and it's said to be the cause of eclipses because it likes to chow down on the moon. So how neat is that? Granted, that is just so freaking like conjecture, like I just happened to found that and it matched up. I think there might be better moon legendary candidates out there, but if we assume that that is the case, then we've pretty much got what the evil team's going to be doing, what you are going to be stopping, obviously on top of the gyms and becoming Pokemon champion, and a good idea for the legendaries that are going to be involved. So I kind of like it. I think it's kind of a nice, neat little theory, and one of the most theories I've come up with completely accidentally, so I'm really happy with it. I was smiling all the time while making this video and researching for it. I really was. So let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you think it's plausible, any of it, and of course your own opinions, and if you think that would be cool to see in a Pokemon game. But yeah, for now, my name has been Rage. Like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe for more, spread the Poke world, and let me know what theory, etc. you'd like to see next time. Because let's be real, the Coro leak this month was one of the most disappointing things I've ever seen. Gotta wait another month for actual info. Either way, my name's been Rage. Goodbye.